Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GameShop MythCast, episode number 30. I am your host, the vocal terrorist, Jesse Rain, and today we're looking at the Mythology player here as the Red Terran, Nathan, and his opponent will be the Blue Terran, CloudNine, here representing Clan F3. So, it's been a while and I've got a fair bit to talk about in this early game, so hopefully no one's going to do anything too crazy. But I've had a very, very busy time recently, just in terms of working a lot on different projects, one of which I was very, very kindly invited along to be a part of the UK Pro League. This was an entirely community-driven, community-supported tournament for UK players. There were, I believe, 10 invites and then 4 qualified players as well. I think it was something like that. No. Whatever. There were people who did a thing. But anyway, they essentially, over the course of about 2 weeks, in fact, no, 3 weeks for the qualifiers, we ran a community-based tournament for players living in the UK, and it was awesome. Like, seriously, it was so much fun. Over this weekend, we crowned a winner, and last night I was in Manchester actually helping to run a bar craft in support of the event. But there's just been so much community support for it. It was wonderful. It was a great experience, and that's a big thank you to Game Social TV for being the people behind it, making it happen, and also making sure it was broadcasted in wonderful, wonderful resolution. Now, I've been laying off the MythCast lately because I've been busy with that. I've been busy with some speedrunning projects, you know, getting ready for ESA and SGDQ to occur. And that's been a lot of fun, but now it's time to get back to Mythology, because I really do love this clan. I love the games they put out, and I am glad that I get to cover their games. We've recently just said goodbye to Viper, sadly. One of my favourite players on our team has decided he will no longer be playing StarCraft 2, at least at a professional level, which is a real shame. So just want to take this time to say thank you very much, Viper, for being such a wonderful part of the team for so long, and hopefully this will not be the last we see of you, even if it's not within StarCraft 2. That said, we have decided a new player. I really do need to figure out how to pronounce his name, though, however, because as far as I can see, it's pronounced Spazzy Maisie, which I'm definitely pronouncing wrong. If I'm not, that's wonderful, though. And I'll be looking at replays from him, hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to get out of the habit of recording these in batches and start recording one per day instead, to hopefully see if that motivates me to get them out just a little bit quicker for you guys, because I have been lazy in terms of... beyond that, of course, today is Monday. Tomorrow we do have the weekly Myth TV, which I believe Gensai is looking after this time, because I will be working my, sadly, normal retail job. Do not quite make enough money to make esports a full-time job at this point, but you never know. You know, there's always hope in the future that that could happen. Beyond that, it's not that long to the next GameShop Open, which I believe will be on the 9th of August, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great. I'm going to be broadcasting that. All of this will, of course, be on twitch.tv/MythOdin, where you can see all the live Mythology-based broadcasts, including player streaming, the weekly Myth TV, and the GameShop Open events. But the night before that, I'm actually going to be on a Twitch channel called twitch.tv/The Sunday Sequence Break, where I'll be participating in the Speed Gaming League, which is going to be awesome. I don't know yet what game I'll be running, but it will be one hell of a good game. And I hope to actually pick up some points this time, unlike last time. But we're 6 minutes 20 in, and CloudNine is about to do a drop. Now, unfortunately for him, Nathan did spot that with his Hellions, and is already getting a Viking out in response. That Viking will be ready, and the Hellions should hopefully be able to clear up the Marines. Nice catch of the SCV there on the minimap over here, the one that CloudNine had hidden. Nathan doing very, very well there. Apologies, by the way, if my voice is slightly off today. I was obviously at a barcraft last night, and you know, I'm kind of still a little bit tired and a very bit drunk. So 2 Marines here waiting, but that's not going to be enough. And this Hellion drop, this Widowmine drop is actually going to get burrowed, and that could get a really nice hit off. Oh man! So 4 workers killed in total. Probably not worth it. But right now, how's the medevac alive? Where did the Viking go? Well, see, he was looking for it to come over this section, and that's unfortunate for Nathan. That would have been really nice. If he sniped the medevac without, totally worth it. And now look at this. We're seeing CloudNine do some funky stuff. We've started to see this Banshee play come back into vogue. We'll have to wait and see how much he can do with it, though. As Nathan should, of course, be ready for more continued harass. At least if he's set up for drops, you can actually set up for Banshees quite well at the same time. So here we go. He will, however, have Cloak. And we're going to start to see this Banshee take damage and have to get out of there. So it would almost be worth it to cancel Cloak at this point. But he hasn't done that. He has finished Cloak. But with that Viking there, and it surprised me that it hasn't actually chased that away. How many Marines does he have? Well, actually he's got 1 Marine, so this Banshee's going to get to kill absolutely everything here. Because the Viking is still incredibly out of position. The scan does go down, and the Banshee's going to start to take damage, but it does escape that scan range. And once that scan wears off, it's going to require another one, and I don't know. Okay, he does have enough for 1 more scan, so could technically finish off that Banshee, but that Banshee up at 5 kills now. So certainly working nicely. 6 kills, 7 kills before it's dead, and it finally does go down, but oh dear, we've got a Banshee here, and this time, okay, we do have 1 more scan, but Nathan losing a lot to this Banshee harass right now. Really going for this ground-based army, which is not paying off. Good use of the Raven, however. Raven coming out of Nathan, effectively stopping the Cloak from working, and this second Banshee will fall. That's a lot of worker kills now, up to 17. If we take a quick look at the unit counting station, we can see CloudNine is ahead by many, many workers. Meanwhile, his second base is transforming to an orbital, and Nathan is starting to push out with these Hellions. 1 tank currently defending. 1 tank will not be enough, but with a second joining it and some Marines coming out, I think he might be able to do okay holding this up. What are we looking at? 12 Hellions at this point. 12 Hellions is pretty nice, but these 2 tanks are going to get some very good shots off, as we see that 1 Hellion almost dead already. So, yeah, absolutely no way. Sorry, Nathan, I like the idea of the Hellions, but right now you're just going to have to settle for this, well, it's not even a contain, because at this point CloudNine is not looking at moving out. So, it's time to start looking at upgrades, and, well, what are we seeing out of Nathan? Nothing really. You know, at this point in the game, we've got no upgrade structures. We've got nothing particularly special. CloudNine, however, he's got his tech out. He's got the double E base so that he can start to pump out upgrades for his Marines, as we're seeing, infantry weapons and armor. Already started, and CloudNine even asking for a pause. Good concave setup here in case those Hellions try to push in. We've got some Vikings and a Raven added to it now. But, I mean, the Vikings not going to be that helpful here. There's too many Marines for them to start chasing down the medevacs. They're just going to be using them for vision. Of course, we do have the lovely Seeker missile. We are going to see that go in. And there we go. A siege tank losing slightly more than half its health. This is going to be frustrating for CloudNine, and he will have to start responding to that. But with just the 1 Raven at the moment, we can already see it's 75 energy, so it does take some time to build up. If that was a mass of Ravens, then it would start to become annoying. So, oh, I thought we were about to see one. But no, okay, now the Seeker missile is ready. We'll have to wait and see, but the Marines are already moving out to catch it. Nathan sees that and realises he can't go in there anymore. So we'll just be containing CloudNine to 2 bases at the moment. Meanwhile, expanding himself. CloudNine, however, is going to throw down the command center in his main and eventually look towards pushing out into this third. Now, the thing about this third is, once he takes down these rocks, well, this isn't even a contain, because you can just walk down this ramp and expand. So, Akilon Wastes, not the greatest of maps for a contain, and the contain has to leave anyway, because, well, they're Hellions. And those poor Hellions, not able to get back in there. Nathan with a few siege tanks of his own now, but right now has a strong army. But CloudNine certainly with, at this point, a slight tech advantage. He really has control of how this matchup will go. Nathan's plan right now seems to be to stay out of any real trouble, get the third base up, get the gas from that, and build up just an incredibly tough army. Meanwhile, of course, the onus is on CloudNine to kind of make things happen a little bit at this stage of the game. He has a fairly mobile force, especially with the ability to drop. But Nathan is keeping an eye out for any such drops. Still no missile turrets. It's interesting to me after we saw the Banshees that he didn't at least invest in one missile turret. As it is, we're about to see Marines and tanks, including an SCV, going for a drop. So no Hellbats out of CloudNine. I find that interesting because of just how good Hellbats are, but seems to be the way. And here goes the drop. The tank is down. It's sieging up, and this is a lovely position for CloudNine to be in. He's going to get some really good shots off on these Hellions, and the Hellions cannot respond properly. Seeker missiles about to go down on the Medivacs. And at the same time, this tank is doing so much damage to these Hellions. Nathan just can't get in there to fight. He's actually blocked off by his own supply depots from going around the back. And look at how many kills that tank got. Oh my word. So now to 29 workers killed. And the difference is small, but it's nonetheless there. And even better, he got to kill so many Hellions. If we actually just take a look at the units killed, it's 45 to 22, which is a big thing in TVT. Especially since Nathan's units are, on the whole, more expensive than CloudNine's. So at this point we do have a drop, again moving up, this time nothing but pure Marines. But it could definitely do some damage there with the stim. We've got a sensor tower going down for both players, looking for drops from that side, and we've even got a Widow Mine planted here, which I really like. However, that sensor tower should not finish in time for this drop to be detected. Well, it will now because the drop has stopped, but with the speed boost it definitely could have got in before that. And oh wow, it actually just gets caught right on the edge of that. But still, it's going to take Nathan a while to respond. Hellbat's not the fastest. I like that he is transforming his Hellions into something more useful in the late game, but still, at this point, going to lose pretty much every SCV in this main base here. And that's not a great position to be in. Nathan continually losing units, actually losing some Hellbats there as well. Starting to lose some air units here. Wow, Nathan not responding well to these at all. We did have another drop happen down here. And CloudNine just going to continue to be incredibly frustrating for Nathan to deal with. Now up to 55 workers killed throughout this game. It's 151 supply to 106. With those sensor towers up now, Nathan is a bit more protected. First base nearly mined out for CloudNine. Really should be looking at taking this base shortly. Obviously, he still has this to make good use of, but eventually, with that main gone, he will be looking at taking yet another base. He just wants to keep that mineral income up so he can continue to make these good bio units. I like the amount of Marauders he's got. Since he knows that Nathan's going for a predominantly ground-based army, Hellbats and Siege Tanks, Marauders, such a good idea. And wow, actually taking this base. I find that interesting. I still prefer this one, but I can understand this. So my thinking here is that CloudNine will actually be turning this into a planetary fortress and kind of using it as a staging ground. Like, he can camp a lot of his army here, push forward into this area, and then retreat back to here and use that planetary fortress to help defend if he has an unfavourable engagement. Just behind this, Nathan also looking at taking this one. Wow, okay. So CloudNine's decided he is done screwing around, and he is just going to build bases everywhere. Someone needs to tell this guy that he's not a Zerg. But nonetheless, playing very, very well at this point. Nathan's is going to struggle. However, if we look at this army is getting to look very, very scary. Do you know, I wouldn't even mind mixing a couple of Thors into this. I would really like that. Even though there's not a lot of air army, I guess actually with the amount of Marauders that would not work. But I just sometimes like how they look. I'm going to be honest about this. I just like how they look in an army like this. Just a few, like 2 hulking Thors moving around between them. But we're getting a big push out from both men. They scan each other. And now the siege ups happen. But Nathan with a lot more siege tanks than CloudNine. CloudNine trying to push through with these Marauders. And just seeing how much damage he can get done at this point. The Vikings clearing up the medevacs. And CloudNine actually losing a great amount of units. in that engagement, all of a sudden, for the first time in this game, CloudNine supply has dropped below Nathan's, and now Nathan using his Vikings to just pick off siege tanks. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what happened there, but it worked. So Nathan now in a decent position. That was very important for him. 3-3 just finishes up for CloudNine, a little bit too late. But it was all about the siege tanks for Nathan. With that +2 attack now, at that time they only had +1. They still managed to do a great deal of damage, even to the amount of marauders that CloudNine had. So now Nathan is on the push out again, which he needs to be, really. Once he has that solid army, he's going to need to start damaging CloudNine. He can't let CloudNine just have the map. And okay, good scan. Just keeps up exactly where his opponent is. Nathan with the siege up here now. And just seeing what he can do. Good Seeker missiles. Trying to force it on siege. Will actually get to kill one siege tank and very nearly kill a second. And CloudNine has no real way to deal with this anymore. There's not enough Marines to stop these Ravens just dumping Seeker missiles wherever they want. But CloudNine, realizing he can't engage, is now setting up for a very, very heavy bio-based Doom drop into the third base of Nathan. Seeker missiles are done, but Nathan, realizing he's being attacked here, has to get back. CloudNine once again going to cripple his economy. Hellbat's really good when they can engage, but the Marauders start stepping back here, are keeping them away, especially with those stims. The siege tank now seized up, and they will start to clear out this bio army, so the bio army wisely lifts. You take a look, there's 72 workers killed, and he's even going to start to drop directly on top of the siege tank to take them down. This is great. Nathan now caught in this choke, meaning CloudNine can actually get up into the main here and start to do even more damage. Nathan's army takes a very long time to respond to things like this. So CloudNine playing this game incredibly effectively. Even going to start to take down the engineering bay here, which I don't think is going to be too much of a problem for Nathan, but everything else certainly has been. And Nathan, again, finding himself in a tough position. Man, that is so many workers killed. As is, it's still only 70 to 64. But CloudNine essentially just not letting Nathan push out, not letting Nathan take any part of the map, which is going well for him. Nathan, however, does have his fourth up, so at this point, not too worried. And now CloudNine looks is going to go to the left. I think he wants to see if he can take down this fourth. As of right now, is he aware of it? Okay, he's not currently aware of it, but at the same time, he'll know it's there. And that's brilliant. He sniped the sensor tower earlier, which I did not notice. Which means this drop is now coming in completely unseen by Nathan. Nathan moving over to the left-hand side to try and keep this planetary fortress alive. That's a good repair, and I think it will survive. But at the same time, this drop in the main is doing damage, and an attack at the third also doing damage, and Nathan cannot respond quickly whatsoever. And just focusing right now on reactors. Reactors and tech labs going down. And CloudNine doing very, very well in this. Oh, and this orbital command does burn down. So, Nathan, again, just struggling to deal with the mobile, continuously attacking army of CloudNine. So, again, cut down to just 3 command centers. Only 2 of which are orbital commands, which is also a little bit lacking in mules. Not a huge problem for him, because obviously he still has a great deal of minerals. But eventually this is going to start to become annoying. It's going to start to become frustrating. I really want to see if CloudNine can hit 100 workers killed. And it kind of seems like Nathan's had enough of it and wants to do a push. But again, he's going to have to be brought back here because of this attacking army of CloudNine. And he's not going to keep the planetary alive this time. So the planetary fortress has fallen, and now there's a lift up heading straight into the main, boosting over the missile turret. And he should, for me, go straight to the main. It's going to take a long time for Nathan's units to get up through this choke. And he can actually start to deal more damage to these production structures, stopping Nathan from continuing to reinforce. So the Viking is going to start to clear up these medevacs and generally be annoying. Orbital command force to the left, and Nathan just does not give a fuck. He is going for a base trade without a single unit that can shoot upwards. And actually in a really bad position here. The siege tanks are holding himself back. But CloudNine does not have the army to stop the sheer power that Nathan can bring to bear here. So, CloudNine with a few bio units in the main, but nothing to stop this impending doom pushing across the map. Does CloudNine have a response to this? Can he shut this army down some way, somehow? Nathan again with some poor pathing, just trapped on the ramp, but does sort that out. Meanwhile, of course, losing everything in his main. And CloudNine trying to clear up these supply depots, but Nathan floating bases away. very, very wisely to keep this game going as long as possible. As it is now, CloudNine is going to be unable to produce anything new in this main. So this is exactly what he needs to do. And wow, going for the full-on tech switch straight into air. Now he will of course be losing pretty much everything in this main. So that was the time to do stuff like this. Start floating a few structures away. Start heading your orbital commands across the map. Finally, of course, these siege tanks have sorted out that bio. Seeker missiles on individual marines. Trying to get this huge clump of marines and marauders, but wisely singling the units out and moving them away. Now, with these up, with the tech labs, we're definitely heading into just nothing but air for CloudNine. He's got a large bank, although not that much gas. That is not going to be many air units. And with having to abandon the third at the same time, he now has very little access to gas for a short while. So, have to wait and see how effective this is. Going straight into Banshees, because, well, there's nothing else he can do. What he'd really like is to go Battlecruiser Viking Raven. But it's simply not going to happen. He doesn't have that kind of time. He doesn't have that kind of gas. So he's going to have to go, essentially, Banshee Viking and see how well he can do that. But with the army that Nathan's got, that's actually going to be incredibly effective. So Nathan's going to have to respond to this very, very quickly. Otherwise, he's going to find that CloudNine is countering his ground army just perfectly. Meanwhile, in terms of production, what does Nathan have? Well, Nathan's got 8 Hellbats, 20 siege tanks, a Raven and a Medevac. And the Raven with Seeker missiles is the only thing that can attack any air unit CloudNine produces. And once CloudNine's production is underway, once these gases are fully mining, and especially with this base as well going up, Nathan is going to find it very difficult to respond to that. Blue Flame upgrade is on the way, but again, it's just not going to be helpful versus this air transition of CloudNine. And at this point, Nathan remains blissfully unaware of what's going down. I don't know if Nathan thinks he's got this won, but right now he's not scouting around the map to find out where his opponent is and what's going on. And, well, that's honestly just going to be dangerous. You really don't want to just let your opponent do that. Finally, this bio will be stemmed and taken down, and now Nathan has free reign to finish off this army. 3 medevacs here, just looking to be exploded. They're no longer useful for CloudNine, who's going entirely air. I guess you could land your Vikings and pick them up and fly them somewhere. And then be like, surprise, Vikings! But anyway, here comes the air army of CloudNine. Good cloak's going down, but, I mean, the missile turret's still there. You know, cloak is useful against things that can shoot you, and right now Nathan has nothing that can shoot you that doesn't also detect them. Now here's the question. What's Nathan's response to this? Well, his response is to start throwing down missile turrets and try and chuck down a lot of starports, but he's going to be fighting from behind here. That said, he does have the gas bank. So, if he can keep himself alive for long enough, Nathan will get back into this game. That said, he's now in a tough position. He's just allowed this to go on for too long. I think just feeling perhaps confident, feeling like he already had the game in the bag with that attack, not realizing that his opponent had given up on the base trade and transitioned out very effectively. So Nathan, now unable to actually fight any of CloudNine's army, will see all of his siege tanks here begin to disappear under the weight of this Banshee fire. And that siege tank is dead. So now Nathan knows where this base is, and they're still very, very close in supply. If we take a look at the unit cannon station, well, a lot of that for Nathan, though, is SCVs. Right now, 2 Thors out, though, and that's what I like to see. We've got Thors, we've got Widow Mines, we've got... Well, we did have starports going down. I guess the Banshees killed them all. But we do have more starports over here. Right now, 2 Thors not going to be enough, necessarily. The Widow Mines dealing with the Vikings very, very well, but, well, the Banshees are here. And they're cloaked, so Nathan having to scan. And, well, CloudNine can just not move over them. But, wow, landing Vikings to take out Thors. Because he has no Banshees left, and it looks like Nathan's responding incredibly well. The burrow happens. 2 are down. The scan has gone down, but so many Vikings taken out by just one shot from a Widowmine. Widowmine hero of the day. And again, our supplies are very, very even. 94 to 97. CloudNine putting the pressure on, but Nathan just slowly beginning to respond with factories and starports of his own. Once again, the question remains, can Nathan survive, however, long enough for that to happen? He does still have this base over here with 2 starports down at it and another orbital command. So he's still in this game. And again, he has the gas advantage. His opponent with a huge mineral bank, but only able to make air units, and really only using those, is having to spend entirely gas. Now, throwing down a bunch of barracks, and why not? And wow, are we actually going to see SCVs just mining for the same mineral patch? Because that would be great. Yeah, so having to go back into the barracks just to have a way to spend money on something that doesn't require gas. Now at this point, oh man, just a Seeker missile here. Perfect. CloudNine not paying attention. And that's a lot of damage done. And now, Nathan could actually land and kill them all, but I guess he's not bothered. He's just going to Seeker missile everything here until it's gone. The barracks are finished. CloudNine now starting to produce Marines. And really, what does Nathan have? Nathan has nothing but Vikings at this point. So his build here, in terms of just what units he was producing, was very much about staying alive. And Nathan and CloudNine, look at this. Sharing a mineral patch. Isn't that lovely? Like, just doesn't that warm you up inside? So, once again, CloudNine's Vikings are going to be disappearing here. It looks to me like he doesn't have any Widowmines, but he has Marines, so that's going to be that in terms of this Air Force, and Nathan's going to need to switch back into being able to deal with a ground force. And no, I'm not referring to Alan Titchmarsh. So 2 Cloaked Banshees once again in here, and, well, everything here is pretty much going to die. Like, Nathan needs to respond to this. Where did those Vikings go? Oh, well, when I said he needed to respond to it, turns out he was one step ahead. He'd already taken it out. I'm fascinated with this base. Just with sharing a base like that, it's wonderful. CloudNine continuing to attack up in the main base, clearing out the last few pieces of production that were left there. But Nathan with a much bigger air army now just has to survive. Needs to keep these bases going while he develops an army that can deal with the ground forces coming out of CloudNine. Once that's done, he should have enough to then roll his opponent, but it does require him to keep these bases going and to keep that income flowing. Okay, Widowmine's burrowing, and wow, Siege Tanks just killing everything. I love the range on Siege Tanks when you get vision. That's one of the things I like about them over Widowmines. That said, right now, Nathan just positioning here to shut down any pushes into that base. A few Marines trying to be frustrating to Nathan. Do get taken out. Kill that orbital command, because if they did, that's really upsetting. Like, come on guys, you were friends. And now we can actually see some Vikings, well, just clearing out the air army again of CloudNine. CloudNine cannot invest anything into air. Right now it's a complete waste of money and time. Nathan has far too much air dominance, and because of that, he just cannot respond properly. Instead, we're now seeing Nathan inch forward, and, well, let's just start to pick this off. And I just like it. There's nothing CloudNine can really do about it at this point. He doesn't have the forces. Once again, we're seeing a command center rebuilt here. Just there's 2 Siege Tanks and 2 Widowmines that are killing everything that get near. At this point, CloudNine trying to build up enough of an army to clear them out, but, well, there's more moving in from Nathan. And if we look at the unit compositions quickly, we can see that Nathan has a much stronger unit composition just for this kind of fight. So production structures are going down for CloudNine. Now, he doesn't have to worry as much, because this isn't a mining base, but still, he's losing all of this production, and because of that, he needs to start rebuilding it. He's still got plenty of barracks over here, however, so once again, the game is not completely over. That said, 1 fully mining base here, 1 fully mining base here, and still the possibility of 1 here once this is built. So, in the true tradition of Terran vs Terran, this game will be lasting several hours. Already at the 41-minute mark, but Nathan is in control here. The question is, will he make the same mistakes again? becoming obsessed with taking out the base and the production structures, and not of actually reacting to what his opponent is doing with having moved across the map. Now we do have that Viking flowering going on. It's not the same as the Viking flower of old, but it's still pretty glorious. Folk Banshee coming in, starting to clear out those siege tanks. Nathan will need to drop a scan. Surely he must be aware of that by now. Okay, and the scan is available, and it does get taken down. No Raven in there for Nathan, so having to rely on scans at this point. Meanwhile, CloudNine setting up to try and defend this mining location. Nathan going to wisely just inch forward, using those siege tanks to protect his army and force CloudNine's bio ever further back. And once again, CloudNine just doesn't want to respond to it. He does not want to pick that fight. He's going to head around to the right and essentially give up this base, because at this point Nathan is unaware that that's what's happened. He does not have vision of where that army would be. So now, when will Nathan realise that this army is snaking around the back? Because this could be a little bit of a problem for him. That said, okay, now we see it. He's going to have to respond to this. CloudNine should not be attacking up that ramp, but at the same time, he's going to be able to start to pick up production facilities. Wow, CloudNine is actually just going to attack there, and that's not going to go so well. He really needs to just be careful of his positioning, not ever getting in siege tank range, always semi-retreating. Now the problem is, no medevacs here mean every stim is hurting this army more than Nathan's actually damaging it. So far it's the stims that have done the real damage, with one good tank shot so far from Nathan. So CloudNine now finding himself kind of trapped up here. He can't really get anywhere, though this base is the next primary target. So Nathan just moves in to close that off. Nice attack on this command center, but it will be saved should Nathan decide to do so. And CloudNine now finds himself unable to leave here without losing all of his bio. Siege tanks moving up, slowly backing that bio further and further away. Nathan losing a lot of Vikings here, however, having landed them. But finally the bio is gone, and Nathan still has 12 Vikings, which is 12 more than at this point he actually needs. So despite the supply block, Nathan's still looking in a very good position. A lot more bio getting picked up here as they are on rally command. And that is painful for CloudNine. He now falls to half the supply of his opponent. He's running out of time. He's running out of options. Is there anything else CloudNine can do here? Or has Nathan finally broken him? At this point, this orbital command will die. I was going to say will be forced to live, but, well, lol, Vikings. Enjoying the barracks. Like a really wonky Tetris piece. Oh! Massive cancel. As all these barracks need to get out of there and away from this encroaching army. That can't have been intended because he's rebuilding them now. There's no way he intended to cancel all of those at once. At least I don't think so. But anyway, another base of Cloud9's is going to fall, which means he's now down to just one mining base. He still has a lot of minerals, but again, very little gas. So he's really trying to hype up that barracks production to get that going. Meanwhile, Nathan actually starting to work on his ship and vehicle armor. The ship's with +1 weapons, but right now it's important to really get these siege tanks upgraded to deal with the Bioforce moving across the map up here. What do we have to defend? Well, not a great deal, but there's not a lot to actually defend anymore because all the minerals are gone and the SCVs have actually escaped past that army. So there's 2 starports, there's an orbital command, which it would be a shame to lose. It looks like that is definitely going to happen now, but still, he has other orbital commands across the map. Right now he has a mineral bank and a gas bank, so production will continue. Meanwhile, barracks are going to start to fall, and Cloud9 with just 77 supply, they find it very hard to take out this army of Nathans. As we can see, we have a very hurt Bioforce from the stims, no medevacs to repair it, and Cloud9 finds himself backed into a corner, and it's a corner I don't think he can escape from. All of his production is now up here. In fact, yes, that is exactly where all his production is now left. So once these are gone, he has nothing left to build units from. even seeing the mule drops from Nathan saying, "Do you know what, bro? Get out of my game." Not being used to repair, just being used to tell CloudNine that it is time to leave. His bio units have been stimmed so hard, one more stim will actually kill them. 2 Hellbats have come out, which will be enough to kill this. I say just because he can't stim. Like, eventually the Hellbat will fall, but man, these bio units are not going to win the game for CloudNine. CloudNine at this point below 40 supply. Nathan up at 150. He's got a huge bank. He's the one with all the production structures. CloudNine not happy with the mech play, but Nathan is victorious. Congratulations there to Mythology's Nathan, and thank you very much for watching. I've been your host, Jesse Terran, and I'll be back tomorrow with more MythCast.